Hello, everyone. This is Mr. Taylor. Hope you are all well. Most of you who are reviewing this content have opted into the online modality or option for the class, which is fine because I'm extending that grace and flexibility to you, so you do have that option available. Just so everyone knows, I'm also having regular class session on Tuesday, Thursday from 12:30 to 1:45 in Canon 203. I am giving you the option to choose which class modality best suits your learning style. So whichever is easier for you, your life, what you have going on. What we do in this class is so heavily individualistic and unique to you and your writing style, so that I'm comfortable operating in this way to give you two options. But I do want to give you some administrative updates to start this week's material. As you've come to tell, I am posting the online content a little later in the week, not necessarily on the day of our Tuesday class, but maybe Tuesday evening or Wednesday evening, and giving you adequate time over the weekend to complete assignments. That is working well for everyone, so I'm going to proceed in this manner. For those of you who come to class, I'm enjoying getting to know you all, and just want to let everyone know that if you decide to come to class, even though your physical presence is optional, students are really benefiting from some one-on-one attention. I'm sitting down monitor by monitor, and we are hashing through some of this writing, some of the edits, really providing some one-on-one professional editing experience for each student who does come to class. So I do want to encourage you to come, bring your content, your work, anything you might have a question about or something that you need help with, and let me help you. Just to let you know, I'm a professional editor by trade, and I would love to be able to help you grow your writing and help you improve your academic tone. So take advantage of coming to class. But alas, your grade is not going to be impacted in any kind of way if you choose to operate online. The one thing I do want to mention is about grading. And if you do opt into the online format, the burden does fall on you to ensure that your writing and your assignments are completed, but that your writing's at the caliber that it should be. So if I keep pointing out the same types of errors in your writing and it doesn't change and your writing is not improving, I would behoove you to come to class instead of continuing the online format, because it may be a little bit easier for you or a little bit more flexible. All of the assignments in this class, all of the daily in-class writing assignments, are strategically designed to be scaffolded. They build on each other, and the concepts grow and connect as we go through the modules. And if you do not take a large portion of them seriously, you don't take the time to review all of the content or the reading, or you don't take the time to look at the study guide, if you're putting this stuff together on the fly and submitting it, when it comes time to write or draft and submit the first major paper, you're going to find that you've done yourself a considerable disservice. So I really want to ensure to impress upon you the importance of making sure you're keeping up with your class content, with the readings, with the videos, with your assignments, that you're not procrastinating and that you're not throwing them together at the last minute, because it will impact your grade. A little bit about the course. So Part 1 of English 110, Part 1 of 3, if you will, is designed to get everyone on the same playing field, to introduce the concepts of academic tone, to cover some common grammatical mistakes, sentence structure, some ways in which you can begin to start elevating your tone to sound more like a college writer, to start implementing some more of these university-based writing practices, and to start engaging in critical thinking at a higher or a deeper, more analytical level. And the very first essay, that is the one that is due on the 22nd, I extended it to give you all more time to review my feedback on your own writing. That first particular essay is a combination of all of the things we've talked about up till now. And so it's our first attempt at a real professional, depth caliber type of writing piece for university writing. The next part of the class comes very quickly. That's Part 2. That is elements of rhetoric and persuasion and argumentation. So really understanding the beauty and the place of arguments in academia, in academic writing, why arguments matter, why everything that exists in academic conversation is based on making substantial arguments. That conversation and that piece will occur in a 2-week time frame. So as soon as we finish this first paper, we will immediately launch into elements of persuasion, modes of persuasion. We will run about 2 weeks covering that content, and then there will be the other major paper, the second major paper, the opposing viewpoints analysis, which is another small paper, yet requires a lot of substantive thought to be able to put that together in a way that is going to be effective. Then the remainder of the semester, part 3 of English 110, is going to be consumed completely by the academic research process, which is going to pull all of these pieces together and will culminate in a final research project where you are engaging in a strong academic tone, you are integrating evidence and sources, you are formatting appropriately in APA, but you're also incorporating in-text citations, attributions, reference citations. You'll know what all that means eventually, and really tying everything together in a final project, which will be the final research paper. The first major paper of the class, the one that's coming up on the 22nd, is 20% of your grade. The second paper is 20% of your grade. The final paper is 30% of your grade. The in-class writings are 10% of your grade. Any of these daily writings, they are not intended to be an assessment of what you're doing. They're intended to provide you with my feedback. They're intended to be a practice, if you will, for the concepts that we're covering each time I publish module or content or we go through a reading. It's your opportunity to engage with the content, to see suggestions, to see my feedback, to incorporate that, to learn, and then to be able to practice or engage in those things and what you've learned in the papers. So the papers themselves are heavily weighted because those are really the assessment pieces. That's how we're looking at what you've learned. So you'll notice the in-class writings, you might all be getting, A's and B's on those particular assignments because they are intended to help you. They're not intended to really gauge what you're learning. It's just supposed to be a transactional piece between me and you so we can share feedback and you can learn what you need to do and where you need to be. However, the major papers, the first contextual analysis coming up on the 22nd, will be your first real assessment piece, which simply put means it's the first paper, the first opportunity that I'm going to be really gauging and evaluating what you've learned, how your writing has grown since we've started the class. And again, I have to impress upon everyone that you can't throw this particular paper together. You really have to look at all of the feedback that I'm providing. You have to look at the study guide, all of the concepts that we've covered. This is not something you can throw together and submit without earning a D or an F. It really takes strategic thought. It really takes understanding all the concepts that we've covered, but also using them, operationalizing them to make sure that you're being a critical, analytical thinker, that you're organizing your thoughts and focusing your thoughts accordingly, and that you're also improving your academic tone in your writing. So that's a little bit about the course, where the course is going, a little bit about grading. If you look at the course syllabus, you will notice that all of those assignments are right there for you to see. All of the grading is there, the breakdown. So you can pull this up and take a look if you're curious about your grade. All of those outstanding in-class writing assignments will be returned to you by this weekend. It's taking a copious amount of time to edit word for word like I'm doing and provide suggestions like everyone needs to be able to effectively improve their writing, but you will all be getting that back. So make sure that you're reviewing Canvas and you're reviewing individual assignments to see when that has been returned to you. In the syllabus, if you scroll down, these are the papers and the grade breakdown. The first paper, personal essay here, this is the contextual essay is what I'm calling it. 20% of your grade. Opposing viewpoints analysis, that's part 2 of English 110. So after this first paper, this will be the 2 weeks that follow, and then the final paper that will conclude that particular section. And then here's the 30% final academic argument, which is the research paper. All of the in-class writings fall within the scope of daily writings here at 10%. You will do a final writing portfolio at the very end of the class, which is going to be a collection of some of the writings you've done over the period of the class. So you'll notice in-class writings are very minimal, yet they're your opportunity to maximize your understanding of the content before you engage in these huge chunks of your grade here. You don't want to take these lightly because these will determine a letter grade if you don't do well. I want to point those out and let you know that they're there. What else did I have written down here? Again, I did extend the first paper. I want everyone to understand that the assignments will have been posted for about 3.5 weeks prior to spring break, but including spring break. Those assignments are under modules. There is a outline here, but there's also the instructions and a rubric that go into detail about what I'm looking for. I spent a large amount of time putting these assignment instructions together so that I could provide people with a step-by-step guide to how to approach this essay. And if you notice, it takes you through the entire academic writing process from pre-writing through writing and drafting to revising and editing. So it's all there in writing for you, but also it's incumbent upon you to get with me if you have any questions and to also plan to use the Writing Center for this particular essay. I will be grading it stringently. You cannot turn garbage in for this paper and expect to get a passing grade. This is your opportunity, as I mentioned, to really show me what you've learned so far and how your writing has improved. So I do want to point that out. I am going to point out a few other things here as I'm grading your in-class writing. I'm noticing some repeating themes. I want to show you on our Canvas page here, if you go to Writing Resources, English 110 Prohibited Items List, I am putting these in the assignment instructions for each individual assignment, but these are words that you can no longer use. So all of these words I shouldn't see any instance of whatsoever. So any of the personal pronouns, me, my, I, you, we, etc., unless it's in quoted material, any conversational phrases such as frankly, at any rate, in conclusion, at the end of the day, kind of, sort of, something or not, when it comes to any conversational words in themselves such as whack, dumb, and any of these waste words that many people tend to use, such as just, any version of get, got, gotten, getting, really, believe, seem, just said that. So, something I tend to say a lot in my spoken communication, literally, a lot, any of these words listed here, I will be adding to this list as we go through the class. But for now, these are the words that you can't use. I'm also making sure that there are no profanities, illicit material, no personal connection to any of your writing. I do want to also reiterate that anything you write needs to be in a complete sentence. I'm seeing sentence fragments. I'm seeing run-on sentence. You have to have a subject. You have to have a predicate or a verb, and each sentence has to be an independent idea in itself. That's something that I want everyone to focus on. And that also entails that you have to know how to use punctuation correctly. If you use a comma the wrong way, it's going to result in 9 times out of 10 a fragment or a run-on sentence. I also want you to make sure that you are writing in more complex sentence structures and to strive to utilize more impactful words and vocabulary. Really taking a step back from the content that you write and asking yourself, what elements of this writing can I elevate? What words can I change? How can I fuse simple sentences together and make more impactful, meaningful sentences? So this is not only a list of words not to use. This is kind of a checklist for you to make sure that what you're writing is including all the elements that are necessary. And this is extremely important, especially for this upcoming paper. So I want to point this out because it's a reference for